Welcome to Champion Minded, the podcast for those who aim for excellence, not only in the sports arena, but in life. My name is Allistair, author, speaker, mindset and performance coach, and my goal is to help you unleash your unlimited potential and provide you with the tools to achieve greatness. Are you ready to become champion minded? Then let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome to it, the Champion Minded podcast. I am Allistair. Thank you so much for joining me this week. In this week's episode, I'm talking about failure. Yes, failure. And one of my favorite quotes, I'm going to start with one of my favorite quotes, is this: the more you fail, the closer you are to success. I'll repeat that. The more you fail, the closer you are to success. Michael Jordan, you might recognize that name, probably one of the greatest basketball players of all time, said this: I have missed over 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. And that is why I succeed. Athletes, I'm here to tell you today that how you respond to failure, how you respond to mistakes, how you respond to setbacks and challenges determines how far you get. It's not only a lesson in your sport, but it's a lesson in life. How you respond to those setbacks, how you respond to the difficult challenges in life is how quickly and how successful you will move on. Life can be a roller coaster, just like sports. You know, we're going to have our highs, we're going to have our lows, but the ability to build grit and resilience comes down to how you handle those low times. And, it's so important to know that there's not one successful athlete out there today that you see on TV that's won Olympic gold, whatever it may be, that hasn't gone through adversity and failure. In fact, doing the interviews for the book Champion Minded and also some of the interviews I've had on this podcast, it's one commonality of the best athletes in the world that I've interviewed is that they have all gone through some type of adversity or failure along the way, be it a tragedy possibly in the family, or it could have been a career-threatening injury. It could have been a loss of confidence. It can be in so many areas, but their ability to come back came down to their choice. Their choice of focusing on the good, and this is some advice I give to players and athletes who are going through a confidence crisis, or they're finding it hard to believe in their game. Is it starts with your self-talk. It starts with embracing your weaknesses, embracing where you are at this moment, and dealing with it. Finding the right people to surround yourself, not being afraid to ask for help. Being around good coaches, being around good people. But that is the point I really want to get out today, is that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. Embrace failure. Understand, and actually talking about guests I've had on the podcast, a few episodes ago I had Roland Schoeman, the Olympic gold medalist and world record holder. And Roland spoke about the fact that, when he lost, he learned. And at first, when he was younger, he didn't see it that way. He said he wished he had caught on earlier to it, but he saw his losses as obviously disappointing, but as lessons. He'd like to journal his thoughts, especially after a hard defeat or a race he was expected to win. He'd go back to his hotel room or go back home and journal his thoughts and figure out a way of why he maybe didn't perform the way he did, or why he lost that day. So an important lesson is you learn more from your defeats. You learn more from your failures if you choose to. Again, I can tell you the best athletes, the best performers have learned to fail. Andy Murray, who was the former world number one tennis player, spoke about that he fails every day. And that's from a very high performer. Again, an Olympic gold medalist. He fails every day. And if the very best in the world can have that attitude and that view on failure, then we can. A funny story I'm going to tell you. It came from the Kansas City Star newspaper. And they were talking about Walt Disney, that he was fired because his editor felt he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Yeah, that's Walt Disney, and obviously we know Disney World here in Orlando, and one in California and one in Paris, I believe. But Walt Disney went on to acquire Laugh-O-Gram, an animation studio, which then fell into bankruptcy. So, failure. After these failures, he and his brothers moved to California and began the Disney Brothers Studio, eventually creating Mickey Mouse in Disneyland and winning 22 Academy Awards. So, the list goes on of people who've failed. J.K. Rowling of Lord of the Rings. She was turned down 22 times by book editors, and look where she is now, probably one of the highest earning authors out there. Colonel Sanders of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, his recipe was turned down over 700 times. Now that is failure. So what I'm saying to you today is embrace failure, embrace the mistakes, have a growth mindset. Know that failure is one more step to success. When you fail, you're one more step to getting it right. Learning any skill, learning any craft requires numerous failures. Yes, it's frustrating, but that's all part of mastering a skill. I know you've got it in you. Get out there and fail, and know you're one step closer to success. Well, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with anyone who you might know would benefit from it, or who aims to create excellence in their life. Also, please head on over to iTunes, subscribe, and please leave a review. I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget that this podcast is also available on YouTube. If you'd like to stay connected, I'm on social media at Twitter at Allistair McCall, Instagram, Be Champion Minded, Facebook, McCall Method, and if you'd like to leave a comment, share some feedback, then please email me at mccallmethod@aol.com. Also, big thanks to all of you who share my posts on social media under the hashtag ChampionMinded. I greatly appreciate it. So, until next week, remember you were made for greatness. Now go out and do the work. Until next time, stay champion-minded, my friends.